My name is Ed Colley, and welcome to Exploring the Arts. We're down here in Bearskin Neck in Rockport, standing in front of the Jetty Walk Gallery. This is a new gallery down here, and I want to invite you inside to explore with me some of the wonderful treasures and artistic work that's here within this gallery. So come with me, let's go inside and meet Terry and Leslie. And watch your step. Terry is a potter, sculptor, painter, jewelry designer, and a friend of my son's, which has nothing to do with this interview, but I'd like to introduce Terry. Terry, welcome to Exploring the Arts.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
it. Terry, I understand you just recently bought a gallery down in Bearskin Neck, and you're getting it ready for this summer.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
Yep. I'm married to Leslie Lannon, who's an artist, and we're partners. We've been working together as artists maybe about 2.5 years, 3 years, where I was making some pots at home and she was painting on them. And we started doing farmers markets, and we decided, since we're in this together, that we would try and expand that whole idea of selling our work, because quite honestly, frankly, loading a truck on a Friday night to go sell something on a Saturday morning.
Then you got to pack it up again.
So we just started thinking about what galleries to look, maybe carry our work, and then we saw a building. And Bearskin Neck is a real fond place for my wife. She's been there her whole life. So we just decided, saw a building, fell in love with it, had parking. We jumped in, and now we have a place called Jetty Walk Arts. Mm-hmm. And it's a gallery and gift store. We have 28 artists in it right now.
And when do you plan on opening?
Well, we bought the building 1.5 years ago. We opened last September, right on Labor Day weekend, because we had to get the building in shape, get the artists all together. And so we really didn't have a season yet. We had the fall season, did a little Christmas season. Now it's all shut down. We're doing some more work on the building, on the gallery, getting it up and ready. So we should be open probably April again. So we'll be up and running for this summer.
You're a graduate of Mass College of Art,
Mass College of Art for my BFA in ceramics, and BU for my Master's in teaching.
Yeah. So you teach in the public school locally?
I teach in Winchester High School. Been student taught there a long, long time ago. And my grandfather said, get in the cheap house in the best town. And it was a good town, supportive of the arts, good parent, intelligent parent community. So I went where people appreciate the arts, and I've been there ever since.
And you've brought in some work. I'd like to kind of go over some pieces. Maybe we can talk about one.
Sure.
How about this little piece right here in the front?
Yeah, well, like I said, Leslie and I, we do a lot of work together. She paints on my pots, but we're trying to branch out on our own, because I think she really is deserving of getting onto her own foot. And I'm really curious about doing new things. So I started carving these pieces recently. These are porcelain. I usually work on low fire, and I love porcelain, and I'm not a very good glazer. Basically, that's why Leslie got into my pots, because I'm not a big fan of glazing. And so, but I do like being curious with forms. So I just started throwing those things.
Was this piece here literally thrown on a pot?
I threw it on the wheel. There's something called throwing off the hump, where you throw a cylinder, and it's a production form of throwing, how I make these little things. And then I was at my buddy Greg's house from BU, who was my professor, and he's got work in the gallery. And I was just playing around, and I started whacking this little thing around as I was throwing it. And I started looking at the cool tops, and actually what's interesting is as it was spinning and you're staring at it, I could almost see the fractals sort of forming along the ellipse and stuff that was created by all the asymmetry, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. So I just started squeezing and pinching it, and I put them aside, and then I looked at them a couple of days later and just started carving into them.
So you don't have a preconceived idea of what, you just throw the clay on the wheel and let it happen?
One, sure. Wow. For that one, and that's the whole new thing right now, is I'm starting to get into carving. And I just want to slow some stuff down.
So. You say like carving, this piece looks like you carved on it as well as put it on the wheel, correct?
Yeah, I threw it, squeezed it. It was funny, because normally when you throw something, you take it off really careful and stuff. But I just grabbed that sucker, and I deliberately made a problem. And then I put it off to the side, and I said, I'll get back to that some other time. And then I did. Like a couple of days later, and I started looking at them for forms and dream ideas. And some of the ones I'm going to work on now, and I'm starting to getting more figurative, like I see fish inside some of those forms. And so I'm going to respond to sort of organic nature forms, and maybe pull some narratives out of them. kind of thing.
Are you influenced too by the area that you live in now in Rockport?
Big time. Leslie and I do it. We're totally into the ocean. We go out as much as we can, and it's just, it's God's country, man. That's all. That's right there. As a matter of fact, like, so we're starting to do these little things.
Yeah, explain this a little bit. That's a beautiful.
It's a simple little drawing, but it's a brass line drawing. But the sea glass that's inlaid underneath it is glass that we picked up on the beach. This piece here, I go out kayaking out off the jetties, and it's funny because there's no driftwood on the beaches because everybody takes it, but out on the islands and out farther, there's a ton of it. So I go out on the kayak, and these are photographs that I've taken around the air that I've floated the emotion off, Polaroid.
And that's the infamous motif.
Motif is like evidently one of the most painted photographed buildings.
I think every artist that ever goes down there does a painting of that, don't they?
Yeah.
And they're all different.
Well, it's funny, because some people, there's that whole pure artist thing. I'm a pure artist, and I'm not going to prostitute myself to the world and paint the red motif, But I like the red motif, I painted it on. I took a photograph of this and made a print of it. I dig it, because
I feel exactly the same way you do, because I can remember saying the same thing. I'm not going to paint that. Thousands of people painted that red motif thing, and what do? I end up painting one.
But you know what? Part of it is, and one of the reasons we got into the gallery idea, and not just for what do you make art for? I mean, the space was perfect before we walked into it. So if we're going to make something, we might as well, not be so insulting to the space. So I think making something that someone else wants, what's wrong with that? Like, if I can take a nice picture of this thing, and someone's going to walk in and live vicariously through my dream and get a memory, I'd totally dig it. And I got into that when I started thinking about making production pottery. That idea of functionality. Where's the art? And it's just crap. But art, I think, is what you live, and I think the reason I make art is to try and afford some grace.
But where does commercialism come into the art experience? Is that a negative?
No.
Why not?
Well, without commercialism, none of us would have those experiences that we have through other people's expression. It was kind of cool when I went to Peru. I saw some beautiful ancient pots, and then there's this one piece that I actually have. It's a chimu, I believe, and it's a press molded piece. And what that press molded image, of course, is not as valuable as some of the other ones that aren't press molded, but what it does indicate is that press molded piece was found in many homes. So sure, the original piece, I got one of these that I made, but now what if I made 50 of those and a bunch of folks can get that, So I think the commercialism brings it down to a level of the regular people, How many people have appreciated art who can't afford a Van Gogh, but boy, they love their little calendar, the Van Gogh calendar. So who are we, if it gives someone else that sort of window into a creative. Yeah.
But the idea of the artist, in a way, is almost like that Van Gogh character, isn't it? A man who lived a life that, did he sell anything during his life?
Not that I know of. I mean, his brother, a lot of people need the patron,
Everyone thought he was a crazy artist. His work wasn't any valuable, and yet today we look at it, we're amazed at how amazingly beautiful it is.
Yeah, well, he was just a different breed.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to see if there is a distinction between the commercial artist and the artist. Is there a separation, or are they one and the same? Is what I'm kind of driving at. In your mind.
Well, it's funny because in teaching I do a unit on propaganda, so I think there's the idea of propaganda in art from a commercial sense is kind of that's just subversive, So if it has a subversive tone to it, that's, I guess, in the eye of the beholder or the one who's getting the message from it. But so I think commercial art can be less than valuable, but I think commercializing your work, selling your work is what the heck.
But in your gallery, though, you have works of many different types of art in your gallery. It isn't just pottery or jewelry. It's a wide range from abstract to realism.
Yep. We have a lot of folks, and that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, this piece right here is a hand. Oh, well, there's commercialism. This girl, Abby Miller, was a former student of mine. She graduated from Mass Art. It's gorgeous. It's a hand dyed. She ground probably. She made the wax drawing and everything. I had to boil it a couple times. I mean, so she put her time and sewed everything. But it's $65. I think it's worth $200. But you know, someone down the street is selling one that came in on a container for 15.
Wow.
You know, but this is made by a young woman who, you know, whose time is in it. So, you know, for someone who can afford that and wear it and talk about it as, oh, this is made by a young woman, Abby, that's great. But also someone down the street who has to buy it off of a container, you know, they get to wear a scarf too, you know, and feel beautiful. So.
Now, you were telling me earlier that you and Leslie collaborate on work. Yes. Can you show me an example of your collaboration?
Well, all right, this is, I mean, I think we saw quite a bit of that in the gallery, but one of these pieces, you know, she likes me to draw, I like good, strong form. And she just loves design. So that piece, for instance, is a culmination of a few different processes that we went through to get to that overall design. She calls that Midnight Garden.
No.
And basically, I fill the form. She works out a basic geometric composition and then just starts laying into it multiple layers of color. Each color is done probably 3 times.
So when you work this piece, she sees the raw product.
Right.
And she takes it from there.
It's just a blank canvas.
And you have no idea what she's going to do on it.
No.
Okay.
It's total phase. She does a heck of a lot better than anything I've ever done on it.
So when she takes a piece that you constructed and you see what she's done, are you like, wow, that's better than I thought it was going to be? Totally overwhelmed by it.
I'm always in awe of her.
Yeah.
What's also good is even though, you know, we're both fairly bullheaded in our own commitment to things, she's very interested in knowing what I think too, which is good. You know, because, you know, we come up with some of the concepts together, you know. She might, you know, we came up, I don't know how we came up with this idea, but we're working on a part right now where she's never going to get it off the ground. So I'll just say, I'm going to go paint out a geometric dot line, and then I know she'll do what she has to do to make it nice, you know, tweak things for it. But I help with some of the basic laid out process. It's almost like I'll build a foundation that she can draw into.
It has I think, kind of a aberration-y feel to it, the design here on the piece.
Yeah, it reflects on a lot of things. I mean, I even see like sort of super modern graffiti kind of thing going on there too.
Or a Matisse feel to it as well.
It's all over it.
Yeah. Now, how long does it take to make a piece like this?
Well, if I'm not distracted, I can throw. Well, it's funny. That's a good piece. I like that. That's a good shape. She keeps me on me make those shapes.
So this is a good seller then.
We haven't even sold that. That's the first one I've ever made of that one. And like it's funny because we bought the gallery, we started working together. Then we found this gallery and we sold everything. We sold our house in 8 days once we decided to buy the building. We actually put money down on that building before we even had our house on the market.
So what's it about this that you like so much? What is it? Is it shape?
I like the way she pinches the form with the design. You know what I mean? The design is in the form. It's not just this decorative surface. It actually has a sense of...
It belongs.
Yeah, it's tight to it. Yeah. It's crafty. Yeah. It's very clean.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But she does that. She's very loose, you know. She's very whimsical, you know. She likes to just float on things,
Let's talk about this piece, too. Let me put it up here where you can see it really well.
I started working for this guy, Jeffrey Bohr, a long time ago in Martha's Vineyard at Chilmark Pottery. And he used to make little finger pots. And I think the reason he was thinking about it, because talk about commercial, that guy knows how to make $1 on his work. He never compromised on, no, we'll do it. You don't throw stuff away. You just wait, sidewalk sale, whatever. But these finger pots, you know, if you sell 4 of these little finger pots, I could go on a beach community, I could take 4 of these things, stick them in my bag, and be off and have 4 little gifts for my friends. But that thing right there, you know, if I had a coffee mug that costs about the same thing, you're not going to walk around with a coffee mug all day long.
No.
But you might, you know, on a little trip to Rockport, buy 4 little finger pots that you can give away to friends as little keepsakes. So they're a fun little thing to make.
Those are little things.
They're also, you know what a maquette is, you know, a little study. They're great little studies for what we want to do on bigger forms and stuff like that. And, you know.
I could see this piece, for example. Let's put it over here. I could see that piece this big as too.
Yeah. Well, we did make some bigger ones, but the thing is, and that's the commercial end of it is, I want to make big old guys. I want to make big things. I want to make sculptures. I want to do strange things. But also I want, part of our mission for the gallery is to make work that people will, to have people enjoy it. You know, it's sort of like a gifting thing.
Besides the gallery, that's also your studio, is it not?
Yes, in the back we have the
Yeah.
studio.
Now-
and kind of hoping eventually people will be able to see the work done. I've done demonstrations outside
When
this
you make
summer,
one,
and that was
when you
great.
make one of those pots, which he couldn't bring in today because it was just too heavy. I saw one that was like that big. Now, how do you put something like that together? You can't do that on a one. Is it
Not
done in
anymore.
pots or
I used to try
segments or
and push
what?
50 pounds around. I don't do that anymore.
Wow.
You know how it's like
Yeah,
you learn to
sure.
work smart.
I haven't learned that yet.
Well, yes, we all have, I think, a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, so I work in sections. I build in sections. Draw
Wow.
in sections. And then and that actually takes a little bit more planning, but it's a better way to work. You're not
Yeah.
just, like starting to get arthritis and
yeah.
stuff like that. So.
Tell us, I'd like to look at this photograph too. Tell me about this thing and how it was made. And
Well, it's interesting because, like I said, you teach, I teach, or you used to teach. And we do this process at school through my friend Robert Gillis, who actually has work in the gallery. He's the photographer. It's called solar printing. So I took a photograph, and actually I think I don't know, this wasn't a Polaroid photograph. That's a Polaroid. Took a photograph, it was a digital photograph. Then I took it into Photoshop, and I tweaked some contrast on it and stuff like that, which is a digital program. And then I made a translucent print of that on acetate, then put that on a copper plate with a photo emulsion on it, and then whacked that with light for about a minute and a half. And then I washed the emulsion off, and now I have a copper plate with an etched photographic image.
so you could reproduce.
And then I put it on the printing press. Yeah. Well, then I ink it up.
Yeah.
Run it through with the process, and then put it on the press. So I printed so far 6 of these, but each one is different. So I was using some different tones in here, sepia tones kind of thing.
Oh, each one is different?
Each one's different.
Yeah.
So I've been trying, actually I did a really nice blue one with some nice cobalts and stuff and some cerulean. So I'm gonna start working on it. I can get like 20 prints out of the plate before the plate starts deteriorating.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but that I learned through Gillis, and we've been doing these we did those in a workshop that Robert Gillis taught us as a professional development, and I was like, oh great, professional development. We're going to learn how to do some work. So I took how do you mash your own ideas as an artist into teaching? So
Yeah.
it's meaningful.
I'd like to get back to this piece too, because you kind of
I
went through
like
that.
those, quite honestly.
Can we look at this really closely, please? Get a real close up on this piece.
I'm kind of hoping
that's
people
lovely.
might want to buy more of those because they're like 30
Explain what
bucks.
this is, because this is so unusual.
Well, when we were completely fascinated with walking on the beach, and I tell you, man, it changes every day. It's ridiculous. And we have 100 pounds of glass maybe, and each piece we just put in a bag. And then it was last winter when we didn't have the gallery. I was we were living upstairs above the gallery and just staring down at the world, waiting for our renters to be able to leave so we could get our thing going. And we just started playing around with sea glass, and I started drawing with the wire because we've been doing some handmade jewelry stuff, wrapping stones and stuff, and wrapping glass.
Now, how do you attach the sea stone?
Well,
to the
okay,
wire?
well, there is a little complexity to it. Not really, but you know how those things have a little masonite backing?
Yes.
I just took my little Dremel tool and carved out the backing, so the glass sits down in like a pocket.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then with the velvet, I put some velvet on it, so when the velvet goes down, then when I push the sea glass into it, it sits nice and flush instead of this lumpy weird thing. And then I just
And you framed it.
then I find my little fishy thing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I can see this as a pendant to wear too.
Yeah,
Besides
I mean,
just
for 30 bucks, I put a lot of time in it. I'm probably making
I
$4
bet.
an hour. When it comes right down to it, it's amazing. You know,
beautiful. It's
because you
beautiful.
got an hour you put into a funny little thing, and
Yeah.
you got it. Especially because we're just troubleshooting right now, so all of it's just like.
So a lot of what you do is exploring, isn't
Yeah,
it?
right now that's what the best part about it. We're just playing around, and we have all the other artists in the gallery who will, we can help, and we can make a little cash off of them.
Yeah. Tell us what you have in the gallery besides your work.
Well, we have, some fibers, some fabrics. We have actually Abby's doing some silk paintings, which are really neat, layers of silk framed in glass, very abstract pieces. We have a basket makers from North Carolina, beautiful handmade baskets, dyed reeds. Ivan Tumbleweed is a wood artist who makes these amazing faces. We have Gerald, who's a wood turner. He's an ex-principal. Turned artist. He's going to be having some bird baths and birdhouses in the gallery, big ones. From cupolas, we have Richard McMullen. He's got Pleat Azure, gorgeous 18 karat gold, diamond stuff, crazy stuff. Really unique enameling work, gold enameling work. What else do we have? We have Greg Steinzik, beautiful ceramic work.
So it's quite a
just
variety.
we got
isn't
everybody. We got beaters from Alaska doing some crazy Tibetan Buddhist beating. We got everything. People just coming out of the woodwork. We just bumping into really great folks. Susan Dodge is a Marblehead artist, living in Salem now. She's got her work in the gallery. Goes on and on. Our daughters are in there, Layla.
Yeah. You were also telling me that how many people visit Rockport in the summer?
Gosh, it's like a couple 100,000 people a summer, a season easily. So it's a real vacation thing. And what's kind of neat is, I mean, I lived in Cambridge for 20 years almost, and you hear more languages on the Bearskin Neck now than you do in the city. Everybody's from everywhere.
Wow.
So it's a real international port. And now with the Shaolin Lu up the way, gorgeous music, venue, one of the most beautiful acoustic performance spaces I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, John Anderson's playing there from Yes. He's singing there. We've seen a lot of good stuff there. So that's bringing another whole cultural level to the community. Bearskin Neck kind of fell, I guess a little bit, people say it was a little more commercial. Now it's getting a lot more artists are showing up on the neck, and it's getting a sort of a new renaissance, I think.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. You should come down and interview more artists on the neck. There's a ton of them that are just there. I think you'd make it. You couldn't get enough of them.
Wow. I know that it's a fascinating place to go, and I could spend hours in your shop just looking around at the different art.
Well, thanks.
And one of the things as a fellow artist, it's always fun to go into a gallery and see other people's work, because I find it inspirational. See stuff, how people work. You want to run home and jump in your own paint.
See, it's funny. That's why teaching's been so good, because all I do long is just, it's like food all day long, get ideas. And like now I'm coming into my part of my life where now I'm going to take that 25 years of observing sort of innocent growth in art. I'm hoping that it'll just leak into my daily routine, you know, as an artist. So we'll see.
Yeah. Great way to meet a lot of our fellow artists, isn't it?
I tell you, you live in the suburbs. I love the suburbs, grew up with my kids there and stuff. But it's nice being around an artist community. When you walk out the door, everybody's talking about art. And being around a merchant community is totally different than any other experience I've ever had.
How so?
There's a camaraderie. You know, I think maybe I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe in a professional environment, there's a little bit more competition. And you'd think that in a merchant environment, you'd be competing. But everybody pops out the door. Hey man, how'd it go today? Oh, I hope it doesn't rain for you, you know? I mean, everybody's concerned about everybody, and I think the fisherman class, the lobsterman class, that working class hero vibe of the lobsterman community, the Rockport granite community from the past, it's built kind of an interesting backbone for respecting a hard day's work. So I think everybody's on each other's side. Yeah. You know, we have artists who are getting together now in groups trying to, you know, support each other. And actually, I want to talk with you a little bit more about that some other time. Where there's a lot of people trying to bring a further this renaissance for each other, not just for themselves. Should be cool.
It sounds like an inspirational neighborhood to be involved in.
We came at the right time.
Oh, absolutely.
We really did.
Hoping for a big summer this summer.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, great. Well, everybody, I've enjoyed talking with my guest, Terry Lannon, from now Rockport, previously from Cambridge. Terry, thank you so much for coming and bringing your work in.
And thanks for having your work in the gallery.
Okay, thank you. And that's it for Exploring the Arts. See you again soon.